Hello and welcome to Baron's Game Room. I'm Aaron as always, and after missing last week, we're going to do another not so normal video where I'm just going to tell you guys a little update on how things been going here in the game room. First, I'm going to take this opportunity to officially announce that we're putting our project, our Kickstarter for Wanton Destruction on a hiatus right now. We're not saying we're not going to release it, it's just with the whole tariff situation with Trump, there's no guarantee on how long this is all going to last, on when there's going to be a good time to go forward with it. So while we're still going to go ahead and get the art finished up for it and everything, that game is going to be on hiatus. We are not planning to release that currently this year. Maybe not until this guy's out of office. We'll see. In the meantime, we're going to refocus our efforts onto some different projects. Now, we don't plan on putting the entire company on pause for the next 4 years. That's crazy. The Dorito dictator can't stop us that easily. Since our video we made about the tariffs, I think like 2 months ago now, we have spent some time trying to come up with some new game ideas. Things that could be made of more luxury components that could be made here in America. Like I said back in that video, America just simply doesn't have the infrastructure to make your standard traditional board games. They just don't have the factories and machines and stuff to make the good cardboard and stuff like that. Pretty much the only thing you can get made in America are cards. You're not going to get the best quality cards, but you can get cards made, and then otherwise you have to go the extreme end of luxury stuff, things that are made of all wood or all like acrylic and resin and stuff. You have to get things that are made of like tile-based games and stuff like that, or abstract games with nice pieces and everything. That's kind of what you have to go with here is woodworking shops or people making dominoes and tiles and stuff like that. So that's what we spent some time doing. Normally, I wouldn't make these videos showing off our prototypes, but since we are kind of having to do a quick pivot to some sudden new games, I've actually already got one set up on the table here. I was messing around with it last night, so it was set up, so I might as well show you guys it while it's here. Currently, we are calling this Mahjong Poker. Now, it's based on mixing poker with that old Mahjong game that used to come on like Windows computers back in the day. Now, we all know that was not actual Mahjong, but they told us it was Mahjong, and that was an inspiration. I saw a company selling these little poker card tiles. I saw them selling a lot, and when I saw them, that was my first idea, was like, oh, those are cool. What if you like stack those sort of like that old Mahjong game? And this is this nifty little tower it kind of makes. These are just 3D printed ones from this company, I believe, that have been printed on. I think for the final product we go with something a little nicer, like more like actual Mahjong tiles or domino tiles. But super cool little game that I'm really enjoying. Basically, on your turn, you can take from any of the face up tiles poker hands. Now, it doesn't mean you're just grabbing 5 tiles every time. You're only grabbing the part of the poker hand you would bid on. So, high card, 1 pair, 2 pair, so on and such. So you grab as many as you would need to form that part of it. So if you're grabbing a full house, you're going to grab 5 tiles. You're going to grab a 3 of a kind and a pair. But if you're grabbing a 4 of a kind, then you're only grabbing the 4 tiles needed, the 4 matching tiles. And like to start the game off right now, there's really nothing here that matches, so all I grab is high card. For high card, it means you grab any single card. High card does not have to be the highest tile, so I could grab just this 2 or whatever. Let's say I did that for some reason. You'll see these over here. These are parts of the scoring that you're doing the game, so you're collecting these tiles, and the whole point is at the end of the game, you'll end up scoring based on what you collected. You are trying to grab your best poker hand you can form. Collected is going to be whoever ended up collecting the most or whatever. We've done a few tests on the rules. These bonus numbers you see, there's 3, there's 4 over here because we're actually adding another one where you're going to do bonuses based on who collected the most of these different things. And then there's some specials at the bottom, like special scoring for aces, jokers, one-eyed jacks, and the suicide king, or I guess we can't say that, the unalive yourself king, and the scepter queen. But anyway, yeah, so once you take one, then any revealed tiles now get to flip over. Great, cool. So like now there's one more for someone to grab. If the next person grabs, let's say this one and this one for a pair of kings, since jokers are wild, then you'll see that now all of these get to flip over as well. There you go. So as you grab, more get revealed and all that. The other thing is you might see these little stacks of poker chips here. As a recent addition to this game design, where we are talking about how on your turn you can take one of these chips and basically bet on one of the things you'll be scoring at the end of the game. You can bet on that you think you're going to get the most diamonds in the end. You can bet on how you think you're going to have the most odd, or you're going to have the best hand at the end. Stuff like that. You can bet on things by placing these chips around. You can only place one per turn, and if at the end of the game you have any of these left, we think they're going to be worth negative, so you need to get them out so you're not stuck getting negative points. But then at the very end, whoever ends up actually winning these just takes all the chips on it. So even if you saw this player put one on here, even at the end, this player is the one who actually gets the most diamonds, they'll collect the chips and get points for all the chips on there. So yeah, you're just making the cards worth a few more points based on how good you think you're going to do on the thing. I think I'm going to do best on collecting diamonds, so I want to start feeding mine there, hoping that I'm the one that gets it. The things you collect are going to be kept face down, so you kind of have to remember what you grabbed, and you can't go back and look at them. So once they're collected, they're secret until the end of the game. But that is not our only prototype we've been working on recently as well. I spent all last week painting up and etching these guys. Yeah, we bought a little etcher ourselves, so I carved into all these and etched all these numbers out, and then just kind of colored them in for the lighter side. But tiles for this new abstract strategy game we've been working on as well. I will say the inspiration for this one was a game, honestly, from Final Fantasy. Final Fantasy VIII is not a very good game, but it has a very popular little game in it called Triple Triad, there we go, that's the name of it. And this is inspired by that. In that game, you have tiles similar to this that have these numbers on them in the 4 different directions, and you place them into a little grid, and if a higher number of your color points at a lower number of your opponent's color, it'll cause it to flip. However, on mine, you'll see that changes the layout of the numbers a little bit. So it's not a 2-player game where you're just trying to get everything your color. That's not quite what's going on here. The difference here is this can be played anywhere from 2 to 4 players. And what's happening is you can play stuff down either color you want. The color does not technically matter as far as players are concerned. Any player can play down dark tiles or light tiles. What matters is every time you play down a tile, any touching tile of a different color is what's going to get flipped over. And what you're scoring points for in this game is just however many tiles you can get to flip in a turn. So you're trying to create these chain reactions of flipping several tiles a turn. So if I play this dark one right here, that's going to cause this one to flip. Let me change this like this. That's going to cause this one to flip. Now that this one is flipped, it is now a dark one touching a light one of a lower number. So that would mean it would also cause this one to flip. So placing this tile here caused both of these tiles to flip. So that means I would get 2 points for the turn since I got 2 tiles to flip. And that's the game. Everyone ends up having these little secret boards here with 5 tiles hidden behind them. I said you can play anywhere from 2 to 4 players, and each turn you just play out one of your tiles, get as many stuff as you can to flip, and unfortunately, that turn would only be a 1. But again, for each tile you manage to cause to flip in the turn, that's going to be a point for you, and then you'll draw a new tile out of the bag and just keep going. You go until all the tiles have been played, and then whoever has the highest score wins. This is one I think I'm really enjoying this one the most out of the one. This one's really cool because it has a great table presence and all that. I love the little stack of tiles and everything. Super neat, looks great. But I think in the long haul, this is the one I'd probably end up liking the most. This one's name we're still kind of trying to figure out. There was a few ideas like Tetrin and Tetrip and Tetrif. Those are all sort of taking Tetra, which for 4, and combining it with Tetra. I just thought was cool. Tetrip was combining Tetra and Flip, since you're flipping them over. Tetrif, honestly, was because we made it because of the tariff. So Tetra and Tariff. Although I think the name we've kind of come to now is calling it Tern, but spelled T-E-R-N. So it's combining Tetra and Turn. The idea for that one a little bit is, one, I think it kind of sounds good, and two, if I can find my little doodle I drew, I was thinking for the design of it, here's an ugly sketch of my design on how the chips would look, is basically to have these squares in the corner, which give a place to those little numbers you're seeing. By those little numbers tell you what's on the other side, but they only give you half the information. So like with this one, you know, on the back side of this 4 is another 4. So wherever that kind of side flips to, there'll be a 4. And on the back side is 3 is a 1, but you don't quite know what's on the back of these. So you only get partial information. Sorry. But my idea for the design is to basically have these larger squares in the corner, which will give a place to those numbers, and then smaller squares leading to a little set of squares in the center where we can have sort of a logo. Like one side might have TBGR, which is the Barron's Game Room's initials, and that's when I was thinking, like, well, what kind of way could I fit the name we're thinking of in here? And I tried to find some like creative ways to like make the boxes T's or whatever, and then just have like the other letters that aren't T's be in the little center boxes. And I didn't quite like how any of those look, but Turn kind of worked, the T-E-R-N. The way we're deciding is, should they be all like oriented the same way, T-E-R-N, or in this situation they're sort of turning, T-E-R-N. There we go. Yeah. But yeah, that's in general, I think this is the way we want to go with that. I really like this, how kind of a bunch of blocky design while also kind of keeping this X and stuff originally. But so that is Turn. Like I said, normally I wouldn't make videos where I show off our prototypes like this, but because of the whole situation, we're trying to kind of put stuff in high gear on getting a new game ready to go out. Now, thankfully, both of these games, because of their sort of abstract strategies and all that, they're not going to require like a whole big art process to be done or anything. Pretty much it's going to be, we're going to spend a lot of time playing these games a lot and just making sure all the scoring and play feels great. Honestly, because they're relatively simple games, they're already feeling really smooth, especially Turn, in my opinion. The scoring for Mahjong Poker is the one we've mostly been trying to figure out. Also, not guaranteed going to use that name. But we're going to try and get, you know, information out there to you guys. Now you guys know about them. Hopefully you guys can tell us your feelings, which ones you think look cool, which ones you like and all that. I think Turn's going to be the one we try and get out first, since it's just tiles, and then we already have some woodworking shops that we've located that we think could help us make that game. And we'll do like a small luxury print run of those or whatever. Now, basically, as I said, we're kind of having to put this stuff into overdrive because originally we were going to have Wanton Destruction going up on Kickstarter by this summer. But that's not looking like that's going to be possible now. So we're looking to now have a new game ready to go to Kickstarter, maybe by fall this year, if not by early next year. So anyways, thanks for listening to us, guys. Again, let me know your opinions on anything. Let me know what you think about either of those games, any opinions or ideas you have about them. And yeah, I guess see you next time.